So you can check out all the agenda, all the speakers and the topics and what time it would start. Okay, then let's start today's event with our first speaker, Prajakta Tendulkar. She is working with IBM Software Labs for 12 years of experience. She has worked on multiple on-prem and off-prem products. She has extensive hands-on expertise in Unix administration, networking, and cloud domain. Over to you, Prajakta.
Yeah, hi. Thank you so much, Chinmay. Can you hear me clearly, everybody?
Yeah, Prajakta, we can hear you.
Okay, thanks a lot. Yeah. So good morning, everyone. I'm very happy to get this opportunity to present a topic at this conference. So I wouldn't be taking much of my time in the introduction. So Chinmay has already introduced. Let me share my screen and we will get onto the topic right away. Okay. Is the screen visible? Is this visible?
Yep.
Okay, yeah. Thanks. Today we will be talking about a little of planning guide. If you want to plan from moving your on-prem product to getting into a modernization world. Okay, so I wouldn't talk much again about myself. I've been with IBM Labs for about 12 years, and I got an opportunity to work on off-prem and on-prem products. So to get started on this, right? So this is a world of digital transformation, and every one of us, we have these applications and we want to get it onto the cloud. And in this path of getting onto the cloud, there comes the concept of modernization, right? So what happens is we know that there are certain problems with our applications, and we start searching through what are the ways to get it solved. And then we get different options, right? There is we get to know about this dockerizing it, containerizing it, putting into cloud, and a lot of other terminologies, technologies come into picture. But all these opportunities, they come with a lot of challenges, which the amount of time that you need to give to plan and understand these challenges is probably more and complex than the amount of time you would have to invest in actually getting onto the cloud, right? So the more the time you invest here, it's always going to be better so that you can start off well once you're on the cloud. Yeah. So this is what I was just talking about. So some flaws in your application, and then you search around, and you know that getting onto Kubernetes is the plan. But how will you start planning before you get onto the modernization world? So skipping on to this. So the agenda of today's talk is kind of, we will try to understand why why we want to containerize an application. We will take a use case where we have deployed a bookstore web app on-prem. We have deployed it on a VM. Then we will understand what are the transformation points that we have to think about before modernizing it. And then we will just revisit the use case to see how one of the approaches we have followed and got it onto the Kubernetes. So why do we want to containerize? I'm sure everybody is aware of this. I'm just starting it as a pitch here, that the reason we want to containerize it is because it's going to improve the application lifecycle management, right? We have those isolated blocks. They are self-contained blocks. They don't depend on each other. They can be utilized by the DevOps, right? And that makes it to talk with each other seamlessly, right? So that is one of the reasons why we want to containerize. The other thing is you want to eliminate the dependency on the base operating system, right? That because the containers, they have all their runtimes in it, they have all the libraries, system libraries packed for the application. You don't have to really bother about what's happening at the OS level, what updates are happening. It's completely seamless. They work and they work very well and gel with each other and continue the operation. To increase the portability and scalability, so any application that is containerized can be ported from one cloud to another. And the scalability is one of the most important factors that whenever you want, maybe you want to scale from 1 to 100 instances of that particular application, you can spin so many containers and that becomes a live application used for those many users, right? It's a less of overhead because that's the reason you don't have to keep adding your hardware or hypervisors the moment you want to expand it. So if I have, so the use case that we will take forward, right? We will talk on it a little more on the less overhead part, and it's a better application development, right? All the development, the test, and the DevOps, we know that they always have to work together, right? They have to work with each other, but we don't want a blame game to happen, right? So that's why we want to make each other's lives easier. That's how development will develop containerized. And the test wouldn't have to worry about where I'm deploying it, and then the dev and the where I'm testing it, and for testing we'll have to deploy it, and the DevOps team will obviously get it into the deep builds. They don't have to. So that complete end-to-end life cycle, right? It becomes easier to manage, right? So this is why we are looking for containerizing any application. So talking about the use case, right? So as I said, we have download. So let me take you to the this application. Yeah. So we downloaded a simple online bookstore application from Git and have configured it on a virtual machine. Okay. Now, in order to get it configured on the virtual machine, we had to get the complete repository. It uses the MySQL database. We had to configure that, populate some data into it, and it uses the Apache Tomcat, so we had to configure that. And after all that configuration, we could launch this site. So what it basically does, it allows a user to log in, and upon login, you can check what all books are available. It's a simple one. That becomes a playground for us to show how you can containerize this particular stuff. So this is what we have tried to set up on a VM. Now comes the important point. I want to think, this is a simple one, but there are a lot of enterprise applications which are very complex and they are huge monolithic applications, right? So now here's a point of what all things you have to think about before going on to the transformation, right? So some point you should give a thought and brainstorm is own your own architecture, right? You are the person who has developed this application, the owner of it. You know the intricacies of it. What are the pain points? Which components talk with each other frequently? Which components are the least called? Which component is the one that is creating a problem? These cycles, that things you know properly. Create your model plan for each of these components, right? Prepare a plan to such a granularity level that you know what all applications are being called by that particular component. So with that, what happens is you clearly can understand what part of your application can be virtualized if it is not already, and what part needs a less attention and it's less pain to get it modernized, right? So be very clear on what your architecture is and how you are going to break it into small pieces, right? How is the application currently being deployed? Whether you are completely on hardware based or some part of the application is cloud based, and whether it's completely cloud based, right? So that point is going to decide whether what is the cost attached with your transformation, right? If it's not complete, if it's completely on the hardware, it's completely an on-prem this product, then you'll have to have invest more time in lots of the factors, understanding which cloud you will put it to, what are the different policies of that, how will you containerize it onto the cloud. So all these factors you'll have to consider. So understand, know whether it is deployed, where it is deployed, and how it is being deployed. what problems are you going to solve using this containerization? This you will come after you actually create a model of your application. There will be some applications. So for example, if you can take a bookstore application for us, we have a login screen. We have a book available. That is one part of it. Then there is a part where you can select a book and say that you are registering to take this particular book, right? So this is one component. So that way, if you look and understand that, you will know the different problems that you're trying to solve. Whether you want to scale the application, scaling is the biggest problem, or the portability is the problem, or the frequent updates that are going in, right? If it's a patch update, application update, whatever updates are going in, that is a problem. So understand the problem of the application, and there is when you can start. So if you, the key point here is, if you want to be fast, go slow first, right? Understand each and every point, and then the moment you have complete model in place, it's going to take you fast ahead into this path. Okay. These points I would like to stress a little more and talk a little more on this. That one is, assess your application portfolio. So for a simple application that we have taken, we don't need it for sure. But the big applications like WebSphere, or we have DB2s, or we have the other WebLogic, any application which has a lot of components in it, right? It is important to use a transformation tool that will give you certain set of guidelines, and will help you. It will be a direction towards your path, right? So one of these tools that are available is the IBM Transformation Advisor. Now it's the IBM Cloud Transformation Advisor. So the way to use is, there are a lot of data collectors in these tools that are available, and these data collectors are specific to different applications. Right? You don't have to download all the data collectors. You have to download the ones which are specific for your applications. So you have to download these data collectors, run the data collectors across your application, and these data collectors have certain policies defined in them. They have certain best practices, rules they are called, they are defined in them. These data collectors are going to collect all the data related to your application, and it is going to build an inventory of that particular component. This is automatically fed to a transformation advisor. You can see the screen here. The transformation advisor is going to list down, or it's going to kind of break the complete a complete big application into smaller applications. And for each of these applications, it tells you what is the transformation or modernization complexity. It tells you whether it is complex, moderate, or it is simple, right? So these three things it will tell you, with which you can understand whether what component you should try first for transformation. It also tells you what are the different issues that were observed when it was doing this dummy transformation. It tries to check. So if you see your WebSphere, right, it is planning to say WebSphere will get modernized into 30, okay, on the cloud. And in that, what are the different issues that were found? And to fix these issues, what is the estimated dev costing, right? So all this is kind of given a lot of ways you can also modify these reports, right? And then there are migration plans. So for each of these, it will tell you what is the migration plans, how you have to break it, and what are different files you need, runtime, everything. So it gives you the migration plan for each of these applications. Right? So this is one of the most important starting points if you want for modernization. Then after you have assessed your then you decide what approach you want to select, right? It could be a normal lift and shift approach, a simple application where you don't need much of your code changes. You just have to lift and shift it up. That approach, where it's a very simple approach, you can do it. Another is refactoring of an application, right? You either refactor it completely or partially. It depends on what is your analysis report. So refactoring means, so once you know that particular applications, a component has all these different applications, then you understand what application you want to change it, want to refactor it. otherwise, if you don't refactor it properly and put it on cloud, it's going to end up using more resources, right? It will end up using more resources, and that way it will your billing will shoot up, right? So refactoring an application is very important. Containerizing the monolithic, this is the foundation step towards modernization. And the next is exposing the APIs. So sometimes what happens is your application may not be suitable for complete conversion, but then the APIs which are there, if you expose those APIs, they could be consumed, create more characteristics, and which can be augmented in your application, right? So different ways, each of these further has what tools to use, how to do a lot of other stuff. But before even, so the reason we are not going into depth is because understanding these points first, and then you can accordingly move ahead into your update. Okay. Okay. Next. Is it clear? Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you, Prajakta. Move ahead.
Okay. 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 And post you have decided now this is the way you classify all your applications, whether if it's a account management component where it falls into. So we've seen here containerization stuff. If it is a website thing, whether you want to refactor it, a catalog, whether you want to expose. So this is all just the planning stuff that we are putting in. This is not actual execution, but this is only planning. So after all these things, then you come up with what technologies you want to use and start investing your time and efforts, cost, everything in, right? So what is important you check here is your business value is always more than the cost that may come up in the end of the cycle. The complexities could always be less or more here and there, but the transformation has to be more than cost attached. Okay. Any questions before we go to the demo part? Okay. I will move ahead with the demo. As I said in the beginning of the session, here is the site that have the application that we deployed on the VM, and it's up and running. We containerized this particular application, we created a Docker image, and we containerized the application. We put the Docker in one of my repositories. We put this particular into, we have pushed it into the Docker Hub. And after that, we have Kubernetes cluster on IBM Cloud. Yeah. So Kubernetes cluster here, if you can see. Right, this is my Kubernetes cluster. It's just a single node for demo purpose. So once my application is there in the form of the container, we have to create the Helm charts, and using the Helm chart, deploy it onto the cluster and create. So for deploying, we had to create a deployment YAML and the service YAML file in the namespace. It's deployed in the demo namespace. And the service YAML file service is needed in order to give it an external IP. This is, if I can go to the Kubernetes dashboard, this is the pod. This is my application that we have deployed onto the Kubernetes. and it is accessible using the public ID. So this is the one that we could access using the public ID. So now if I want to spin up n number of instances of this, I can replicate, I can provide the replication of this, and I can get the number of equal number of instances available. Here I will not have to worry about anything, any updates that are happening. And this is a very simple example of a lift and shift operation, which I did not done any change to the code except for the basic hygiene that is needed for the Dockers and the containers. Right? So this is a simple example of containerizing your application and putting it onto Kubernetes. So that's it.
Prajakta,
Over to you.
Yeah, Prajakta, there is one question from the chat. So it says it's from Hari Krishna. He's asking any suggestions on how to manage and plan dev, test, stage, and prod environment.
Any suggestions for planning?
A suggestion how to manage and plan dev, test, stage, and prod environments.
Okay, so it's basically you have DevOps in place, right? So basically when we development when you have, so the reason is when you containerize everything, things are going to be available for the DevOps deployment. So from a suggestion perspective, I think the agile methodology, if you follow the agile methodology, then the deployment process becomes faster, right? So for testing also, you don't have to be really dependent on deploying that particular container or anything. I mean, you don't have to be worrying about where to deploy and things. It's easily deployable. So from that perspective, I think agile methodology is going to help a lot in easing your test process.
I hope Hari, your question has been answered. There's one more question. What is the name of transformation advisor tool available on IBM Cloud?
It is IBM Cloud Transformation Advisor. This is a complete name of the tool that is available.
Okay. I don't see. Yeah.
Being
go ahead.
shipped also with the other. Yeah. So this is being shipped with the other cloud packs as well. We have this cloud pack for application that's also ships this advisor. I think it's available for test purpose, but only limited amount of data collectors would be there. So for trial purpose.
Okay, I guess I don't see any more questions on the chat. I think we can move ahead to our quiz section. So thanks a lot, Prajakta, for your time and your first session. It was really great.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So let's move to the quiz section. So basically, we'll be playing with the app or an application called as Kahoot. So all the participants need to, if they have already this app, well and good. Otherwise, they need to go to www.kahoot.it. And once you go over there, you need to enter this game pin. And once you enter the game pin, you will be asked to provide your name. So it will ask for nicknames, but we'll prefer to have your name because it will be easy for us to identify who's winning and all. So please go ahead, go on www.kahoot.it, and the game pin is 3022949. We'll wait till more and more players get added, and once we have desired number of count, we'll give it a start. For those who have not played earlier on this application, it's quite simple. Once we start the game, a question will pop up. It's mostly the format of MCQ, and depending upon the answer, you just need to click that colored box on your screen. And again, all the questions will be timely based, and depending upon how many questions you answer correctly, you will get some points. And winner of the quiz would surely have some takeaway goodies with it. Okay, so do participate, do answer, and enjoy your goodies. As of now, I can see that at 10, 11 players are increasing, the count is increasing. I can see a person joining with the name M, so I would prefer a proper name because it will be difficult for us to identify who that person is. Great, 22 players. Let's see how fast we can hit 50. So I guess we are good to start. We'll wait for a couple of seconds and then we'll go ahead. Thirty, 32. So guys who are new to Kahoot, make sure your game pin is correct, your name is correct. Again, the next time you are playing, the game pin would be a bit different, and please make sure you use the same name. There'll be around 4 to 5 questions in each round, and each question will have some points, and at the end, a winner would be decided. I think we are good to start, I guess. Yeah. So you all can see the question on the screen and all the options which are present on the screen. Whatever answer you feel correct, you just need to click that color box on your screen. And done. So these are the number of answers which we have got. The right answer was go, and 11 people has answered it correctly. You can go ahead and check. Yeah, the first one is Apur, then Shrikant, and then Mohammed. So let's go to the next question. Come on, guys, you can answer. There are no negative points, so it's okay even if you answer wrong. It's okay. Great. Let's see. Apurva maintains the lead. The next is Sarang and Shrikant. Let's quickly move to the next question. And here we have the final results for this particular quiz session. The winner is Apurva. So he maintained his lead right from the start. So Apurva wins the first place, then Sarang, and the third one is Vinayak. So we'll take note of these things